around the world. He loves to go to Asia he's been all around Europe. And whether he was in the Navy or traveling with family is something that he always prided himself in doing with the people that he loved. And my tata, he found this amazing trick when he was in Spain. He was traveling with my mother, and they got pulled over by the police. And while they were doing this, and the policeman was walking off, he said to my mother, he said, "The people here can make out English. They can understand it well enough so that we communicate." But he said to her, "They can't understand Texan." So when the policeman approached him, he did his strongest Texan accent he could muster, and the policeman had no idea what he was saying. And the policeman was trying to communicate, and after trying, he was like, "Okay, obviously nothing's working out here." So he was like, "Okay, you guys can go." And as the policeman was leaving, my tata is fluent in Spanish, by the way, said to him, "Molto bene, grazie," and he drove off. And the policeman did not follow him. So that kind of shows my tata is the sort of person who is he likes to play around, but he's also a very serious person. My tata was in the military for 33 years. He was in the Navy, and he was very highly ranked over the years. He was on various places. He was stationed in Spain. He was stationed in Guam. And while he was in Guam, this is one of his first years in the Navy, there were some not so good things going on. They were making planes with the improper, cheaper parts. And he overheard this, that a plane had crashed, and he overheard that they'd been building with legal parts that weren't supposed to be used. And he went to his superior officers and he was like, "What are we going to do about this?" And they just basically told him, "Keep quiet about it. We're not going to do anything about this." And my tata, who wasn't afraid of what his superior officers would do, he went up higher in the chain of command and told somebody to do something about it. And everything was fixed. And this actually happened multiple times, happened both in Guam and in Spain. So my tata has taught me that it's very important to do the right thing regardless of the pressure that's on you at any given time. And over the years, my tata had gained a reputation for doing things. He told me that he always wanted to do things for the sailors. He said that his job was really an advisor, and what he always wanted to do was for the interest of our military personnel. And eventually, when he was near the end of his career, he was recommended for the position of Fleet Command Master Chief. He had been Master Chief before, which is like the head of the Navy stations. But when he was in later of his career, he was recommended for this position. There was a couple people looking for it, and he went into the interview. And what he told me was, when he was telling me this, is whenever you go into an interview, always be completely truthful, because if you get a job and you're not being truthful, then you're being expected to be somebody else while you're in that job. So while he was in there, the person asked him, they said, "If you were in my position, what would you do? If you were in the Fleet Command Master Chief position, what would you do?" And he told him like the truth. He said, "There are a lot of things that I wanted to be changed," and he was very blunt about everything. And the person told him, "We're not really considering you for this position. It's between two other people." And my tata said, "I want to recommend Bill Gibson." He's like, he has less experience than me, but he's like, "I'm near the end of my career. This isn't a very good job for me." He said, "Bill Gibson is going to be great." And the person said to him, "Okay, I actually lied. That was like a test. It's between you."